Here we can have a look at how to use MetaBox to manage the slides that you would have on your homepage or the categories to use in your slider. So at the moment you'll see we have the decor and we have, I think, accessories. So to change that, we'll head over here. You'll see decor and clothing. If I remove clothing and save the settings, head over to the website, you'll see we just have the single decor item. And if I go back then to the sliders and let's remove decor, let's go for hoodies, and let's go for music. Right, and we'll save the settings, head over to the website, refresh, and there you see that we have the music and the hoodies. Now this only takes 3 items. The second slide that we have going here shows just standard posts. So that's the general idea. And what we're going to do now is look at creating the same from scratch. So I'm going to go over to my builder and then go into the slide. And then what I'm going to do here under the products is I'm going to remove the taxonomy query that we did and hit save. Then I'm going to head over to the backend, and what you'll see here is that I created the website options settings page using bricks using MetaBox, and then we added custom fields to appear on that in that position. So if I go down here then to MetaBox, we're going to create a new custom settings page, and then we go down here to settings pages, and let's add a new settings page, and I'm going to call this one new home page. The option name I'm going to call new underscore home underscore page, and it's quite important because we will need that to get the custom field value. And the menu type, now I can have it as a top level menu item or included as a sub menu item to another options page. So we'll leave it as a top level, but if I set sub menu, you can then select where you'd like it to appear as a sub level. I previously created website options as a settings page, so I can then include that in website options then as a submenu item. I'm not going to touch anything else on this page. The only other thing, sorry, to look at is the kind of layout. So tab style top is fine. Custom message style. I'm going to go with boxes. If there's no boxes, it's just your fields on a background with no defining area. So we're going to go with boxes. So we first create the settings page, and then we're going to create the custom field. Then we can assign the custom field to that settings page. So from there, then we go to custom fields. And let's add a new field group. And we'll call this new home sliders, and then we'll add a field, and the only field that we're going to add here is going to be taxonomy. So taxonomy, and we want the advanced taxonomy. And the reason why I've selected the advanced taxonomy is because if we have a look here in the MetaBox data, a MetaBox field, so if I go to taxonomy advanced, I click on the data tab on the right, then it tells me that unlike the taxonomy field, this field saves terms IDs in the database, and we're going to need the IDs to output our categories for the slider. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm using the advanced taxonomy field. So taxonomy advanced, and I'm just going to say change that to select product categories. So taxonomy advanced, going to scroll down to taxonomies. We're going to look for product cat. So let's have a look. There we have product cat. field type, select advanced. Let's go with checkbox tree should do it. And there's no placeholder, and we do want to allow for multiple. Okay, and I think that's it. The next thing we need to do is go over to advanced, and we need to define where this is going to go. So not advanced, we need to go to settings. So we go to settings, and then we can say setting page, select, and we went for the new home page, and we'll update. That essentially means now that as soon as that is saved, that we can head over here to website options. Under that, you will see new home page. I'm going to select the new home page, and I have this tick box. And so maybe, okay, so you can see what's going to happen here now is if you're going to make a selection of categories and you click on clothing, then clothing will be selected automatically. So you don't have the option in this layout to, for example, select t-shirts. And now you don't know if t-shirts is selected or not. So that's not going to work in the MetaBox going for this kind of tick box layout. So we'll have to change that. So to change that, I'm going to go over to my field groups, just open them in a new tab quickly. And then let's go to MetaBox field custom fields. Then I'm going to go to new home sliders. And then under fields, we'll select the categories, and instead of the checkbox tree, we'll have to go with a checkbox list. That way we can see all the fields together. Right. So that done. Right. Now what we can do is head over to the website, and let's start putting our taxonomy query together. So here we are. If I refresh now, that slider will not be working. It's just pulling in some default products now. So if I look at that slide and I look at the query for that slide, then you'll see that I've selected products and we just said post per page 3. So it's really just putting in the default products at the moment, and we want to change that. So what I'll do now is go over to my taxonomy query, and I'm going to go product categories. I'm then going to go term ID, and the terms we will get from our custom field. So that was, okay, the custom field that we selected isn't showing because I need to refresh bricks. So let's save what we have so far. We'll refresh. So bricks reloaded, and we're going to head down to the slider that we're working on. So this is the slider, and we'll just head back to that query. So here in the taxonomy query, we've said product categories, term ID, and here then we've scrolled down to the custom fields, and we should now have new home page. So that's the that's what we're looking at, and we're going to say select product categories. That's the correct. You can see how this is linked then to the options page and the field within that options page. We'll save, and then when we head over to the website, let's see what we get. Right, the page refreshed, and we are getting some products in our slider. Right. Now that the changes have taken effect, you'll see that there are no products in the slider, and that is, it's not great, but that is in fact correct. And the reason for that is because although the Taxonomy Advanced says that a single term ID is saved in the database. What they forget to tell you is that they save a lot of other information in the database as well about that category. So what we need to do now is extract the information that we want to output. And to give you an idea is if in the slider here, I have a section above with a container. So if I head over to that container and I'm going to just see what is being output. So if I select basic text and I head over here to the basic text, and I'm now going to select that custom field. So I scroll all the way down to the bottom. There is new home page. Select and save. Then I'm going to refresh the page and see what we get. Right, so nothing. So nothing is in the standard way being output using. Oh, it's still saving. Right, now it's finished saving. We'll refresh. And still no value is being output. So there's clearly a disconnect here between what is being saved in the database and what we need. So to work out exactly what's going on, we're going to output those values. So to output the values, I'm going to head over here to MetaBox, and I need to get some values from the settings page. So I'm going to go across here under extensions then to the settings page, scroll down to data, and getting field value appears. So this is what we need because we just have a standard setting page and we're not looking for a network setting. So what we can now do is go and create our function to extract the information. So what I'm going to do is just create a new function here, and we'll output those values. So we'll follow the guides as laid out by MetaBox. So MetaBox says that if we do the following, we will get the value. So we need two fields. We need the field ID, and the other field that we need is the option name. So to get the field ID, I'm going to head over into MetaBox, and here's my custom field. Or am I on the, yes, I'm in field groups, and so the label, and then here we have the ID. So the ID for the field is that value. So I go back to my snippet and the field ID, I can now paste that in. And then I need to get the option name. Now the option name is actually the name is from the settings page. It would be nice if it said settings name or settings page name or something. And over here, we can then go to our settings pages. Maybe just call it a settings page. And then we're looking for the new home page. And on the new home page, we'll see the option name. Okay, so we have the option name and we can pop that in. So both of these you'll have to wrap with a single inverted comma. Right, so we've wrapped those. So that's going to do something now. And the value, though, is going to be an array, and I know that because it's a multiple select field. So if I say echo value, it'll just output the array. So what we'll do is we'll go print underscore r and the value. Right, so let's save that. And then to output the value on the website and check what we're getting, I'm just going to copy the name of the function, head over to Bricks Builder, and in this container now, I'm going to add some code. So let's add code. There's one more step that we need to do in order to make sure that we output a value. So we'll do this first. Right. Now, if I go back to the page, so here we are. You'll remember that we changed the option here for how we select the different categories, but we didn't select any. So what I'm going to do now is just select 3, save the settings, and that'll just make sure that a value is output. If we go over to the website, you'll remember we did a text link to see what value was being output. We then changed, but we didn't update the page to see, we didn't make the selection. Now that we've made the selection, you'll see that it outputs the name of the categories, which is great, except that what we need is the ID. So if I head over back into the sample builder, then let's activate and let's see what information is stored with that MetaBox information. So we're just waiting for that to output the value. There you go. So there you can see it's outputting all the different values. And if we have a look, it outputs the name and it outputs the term ID. So we're looking for this term ID. Right, that's great. So now we know what to output. So we can head back to the snippet. And now what we're going to do is do a for each loop. So that'll be for each, and that will be value as A. You can just leave it as A. Keep it nice and short. So for each value as A, what we'll do then is we'll go and now we'll just call it the underscore ID is equal to, and we know we can go A. And if we want to just check the value that we want, is we're looking here for this term ID. So go back here and then term underscore ID. So that's going to output the term ID. Now, as it loops through this for each loop, it will just output a single value, single value, single value, single value, which is great if you just wanted to output 3 values. What we want to do, though, is save them to use in our condition. So if I go echo, that'll be great. It'll echo the value. So let's just make sure that it is echoing the value. So now with that saved, we'll see an update here of the output. Right, and there you'll see the ID 16, 21, and 18. Now it's one long number, and what we need is we need number, comma, number, comma, number, comma. So to do that, we're going to create an array now of the IDs. Let's remove the echo statement, and to turn the values into an array, we just do the square bracket open and close. So there we have those items in the array. Now what we want to do is how are we going to use the IDs. So use ID, and that's going to be equal to implode. And what implode does now is takes that array, those 3 values, and allows us to separate the values with a comma. And we now need to say implode, separate with a comma. What must it separate? It must separate the ID. And we can now say return and use underscore ID, and that'll return the values. If we want to check the values, we can simply echo use underscore ID. So let's just echo out the values first then and make sure that they're there. Let's let those changes take effect. And there you'll see we have our comma separated list. Now we can return those values and use them in our taxonomy query. Now to return them, we simply replace echo with the word return, and that will return the values. So returning the values, you won't see them if we try and check them in the function here, but we no longer need them. So we can delete, and if we want to, we can just keep the text and just check that the categories selected are the same as the categories that get output from that text output. So I'm going to head over now back to my slide. back to the taxonomy query. And then here where we have terms, I'm going to delete what's there. Right, before I go in, I'm just going to go and get the name of my function. Head back. We're going to go with the term ID. Here we do a search for PHP, output PHP function, echo, colon, the name of the function, and save. Now when we head to the website, those changes will take effect. Just waiting for that to save. And already there you saw a bit in the admin area that it was working. And here when we refresh now, so we've selected clothing, decor, and hoodies. Okay, it's still loading an older version. Let's just refresh this page. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here now. Let's go back to the bricks test. Right, let's close that. Let's do a preview. Right, so for some reason there's an issue in the slider. It does work here. So let's just head back. I'm not sure if changing that to term taxonomy ID will make a difference. We know we want it in, and it's product categories. There's no code loading here. We can save. If I head over to the it's field ID, option ID, it's pretty basic. There's nothing strange in here that should be causing an issue. Save those changes. And now it has loaded. So maybe it was just taking a while to load. And here we have the clothing, decor, and hoodies. And let me go back here then and change my selection. Let's just go with decor because we know that's only one item. And then we'll refresh. And now we should only have the WordPress pennant, and that is correct, and the word decor. Right, we can give that another test. Let's go with some music. Save settings. And yes, there you have it as well. So everything is working as it should, and it is pulling in the products according to our selection. So the process to get it right is to first create the settings page, then add your custom field group to the settings page. Go with the advanced taxonomy as your selection. Once you have that, then create your function, and in that function, you're then able to extract the values, convert them into a comma-separated list, and then use that comma-separated list from your function in your taxonomy query under the taxonomy query. So I'll include the code for the function below in the comments. And yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching.